Welcome back to Midday Kentucky, everyone. Well, are you interested in possibly fostering or adopting a child? Chris and Alicia from the Office of Faith and Community-Based Initiatives is here to explain and clear up some of these questions that you might have at home. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. I think this is a very important topic. All right, before we get into it,
Sure.
Okay.
who wants to answer, how does a child end up in foster care? What are the circumstances
Sure.
to begin with? Because it's not all horrible stories, is it?
Right. Well, and the biggest thing that we probably need to know and recognize is any child that ends up in foster care is not there because of anything they have done.
Correct.
It's because people who should be caring for them, who love them, maybe don't have the support that they need. Maybe they just made some poor choices in their life. Maybe they themselves have not been taught how to care for a child well. And so sometimes it's because of just different situations that would do that. I will tell you the number one reason right now that children come into care is tied to the opioid epidemic and drug issues and those kind of things.
I was going to say that. How are you finding out that these kids are needing to be put into foster care? How does it get to that part from you?
Most of the time it's a concerned neighbor, it's someone
Really?
at the school,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
a friend, sometimes even family members that recognize, that love these kids and recognize that they may not be getting the care that they need, and so they may call the hotline to report a child who is being abused or being neglected in some way. And so most of the time it's someone that's connected in the community. And that's why it's really important that we have people in the community that are helping come around these families that are in difficult places, because really we need to support them, we need to encourage them, and the goal is that we would provide care around them so that their children wouldn't come into care. That's really the last resort. We want kids staying with their families as much as possible.
Okay, well, I'm going to get into what it takes to become a foster parent. I think that's really important because I have some other questions that would like to go along with that. So
Sure.
what does it take?
Well, the state provides training for you. You have a certain amount of hours that you do. You'll go through a home study. There'll be online courses for you to take as well. It's really quite a smooth process.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Right.
All right, so once the court assigns you to foster care, the child, to you, I'm just trying to go through the process.
Sure.
Now, after that happens, how long would the child be expected to stay with that family?
It all just depends on the case. What will happen is a child is, if it is determined that a child needs to be removed for safety reasons from their family, and that child is placed into foster care,
Yes.
the case manager, the foster parents, others will come alongside that parent and figure out a case plan that parent will need to work to. Maybe it's parenting classes, maybe it's substance abuse training and support. And so it'll all depend on how long it takes that parent to work that case plan. Will determine how long the child remains in care, because we don't want kids going back until it's safe to go back. We want them going back as soon as possible, but we want to make sure they're going back to a safe environment. So it could take anywhere from a few months to sometimes a year or more, depending on just how long that process takes.
It must be tough if you, as a foster parent, has a child for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden has to go back, and you want that.
Right, that's
but
the goal.
It must just break your heart.
Oh, it does
because
break your
You would
heart.
grow feelings.
Right, because one thing that we want our foster parents to know is we want to give them the best experience that they can have in foster care. I want, when a child comes into my home, I love that child just as if they were my own.
Yeah.
So when they leave my home, I go through that grieving process, which is just normal because I've loved them in a very big way. So it's something, it's never easy, and we've been foster parents for over 10 years, and each time a child leaves us, it's the same process.
Okay, well, look, we're running out of time. There's so much more to ask you. Will you come back?
Oh,
Would love to.
absolutely.
Would like
Love
you to
to.
come back.
I'd
Do
love
you want to
that.
find out how to become a foster parent? There is all the information. We didn't even get into the adoption part. So, I've got too many questions. There it all is up on the screen, everyone. If you feel that you could be that person, give them a call, find out.